where music lives. This is Power 95. Ladies' Room comes to you compliments of
Renwick and Thompson Limited,
agents for Western Union,
and Beacon Insurance.
We plan for every major life event, from birthday parties to baptisms, and celebrating a life well lived deserves the same thoughtful planning. Beacon's Rest Easy plan is designed to give your loved ones the comfort of knowing that they can do just that. With no underwriting and cover for up to 6 family members that includes certain injuries, this plan can be yours for as little as 75 cents per day. Call us at Beacon or log on to beacon.co.tt for more info today.
2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 3 is 6.
Education multiplies their chances and places the world of opportunity in their hands. No matter where they are in the world, make sure they're prepared for their journey back to school with Western Union. School fees, books, room and board, whatever the reason. Knowledge, independence, opportunity. Western Union, moving money for better.
Everyone, good morning. Welcome back to another ladies' room. We're back for another week. Final Monday in May 30th. And if there's anybody celebrating today, I just want to wish you a happy birthday and hope you have a good one. Of course, if you're like myself celebrating life, well, here's to us having a good one as well. Y'all saw the heading, right? So you know what we're talking this morning. I did say, on Mondays we're gonna talk a little politics and analyze what's going on. I swear, I know I said so, but I honestly don't even have the energy. I think I'm better off talking about man and woman business. At least we could reach some people, because there's a lot of folks who reach out and say, you know what, so and so situation, I've been there or I'm there, and this has helped me in such and such way. I honestly don't have the energy. I mean, I just, get into a little bit of it on a Monday and it drains me. I don't understand how people do this every single day. How you all, yeah. Anyways, we'll talk about that shortly. Good morning, Marian. Good morning, Christelle. Julianne is here. Kendra, good morning. Roseanne, Hazelyn, good morning. Shanti, Giads, good morning. Hey, Doobie, good morning. And welcome to the awards. Good morning, Krista. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Jocelyn. Good morning, Karine. Rita is here. Maureen Isaac is here. Charmaine, good morning. Queen Bee, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I hope everybody is doing a-okay and had yourselves a good weekend. I'm sure there's a lot of you that's probably tired. And like I said, today's probably going to be one of the most... I had a great weekend. Yeah, I had a good weekend. Thanks. Hold on, I'm just trying to. Okay, yeah. So come on in, guys. Come on in and hit the share button, and of course, feel free to join in. This morning we're talking about to change or not to change. I want to get your feedback. I want to get your thoughts. You can send your voice note. You can send your, you can call, or you can, chime in on the WhatsApp or on the live. Come on in and share, guys. Let's have a nice conversation, a respectful conversation. No name calling, no, disrespecting anything. Just being, adults about the situation. We know it's something that happens every 5 years, give or take 4 or 5, so it's nothing new, but there's a lot of new behaviors that you see emerging. Knew it used to be bad, but I can honestly this time around, wow. And it's not so much the folks on the stage, it's not so much the representatives, those offering themselves up for public life. It's more so the followers, and I don't get it. I honestly don't. At this point in time, already know who I'm going to put my ex next to. I already know that. So there's no amount of, whatever that could change my mind at this last juncture. I already know where I'm going to put my ex. But for somebody listening in who's not so sure, it's like a ball of confusion. I mean, for the last 3 or how much Sundays we have those massive rallies, people going out in their colors to support their party of choice. And the behavior of the folks who are actually looking at, the lives. Man, I saw some things being said yesterday and I was like, you know what? I tuned out. I couldn't, because as much as you like to say, swipe the comments, sometimes you want to read the comments and see how people feel about, a particular representative when they're speaking. And, let's put it this way. I've heard time and time again that we live in a democratic space, right? I've heard time and time again folks saying one party winning all 15 seats is not good for democracy. Now, let's put things in context and perspective, because it seems as though people are just so passionate and so caught up in this that we're not thinking rationally. If we're saying that a party winning 15 seats is not good for democracy, isn't it obvious then that everybody can't vote for that one party? So we're going to have to, split the votes. We're going to have to vote for party A or party B in order to have an elected government and, of course, an elected opposition. Isn't that what it's about? Otherwise, if everybody were to vote green, you know what's going to happen? Another 15. If everybody were to vote yellow, then it would be another 15. So if you're supporting yellow, right, why is it necessary to chastise, lambaste, call people names that's supporting green? And if you're supporting green, why is it necessary to do the same to yellow? Make it make sense. What is all the bickering and bantering about for people's choice? It is a right, a right that everybody has. It is my right to support yellow or green. It is your right to support yellow or green. Why is it that I'm stupid or dunce or the other person is this, that, or the other because they support X, Y? We all can't see things the same way. If we were to think, feel, see the same things, you know how monotonous and boring and like that this world is going to be? So for the life of me, I don't understand if somebody is supporting something you're not supporting, that you're upset and mad. But in the same vein, you're saying we want opposition and we want accountability and we want... How are we going to get that if everybody supports one party? I saw some... I'm like, we all... Like, how? Like, people are so angry, and you could read the anger in their responses and the things that they're typing. People are just so angry and upset over people deciding, you know what, I'm going to vote for party A, B, and C. I literally too, and I'm like, you know what, I'm done with the rallies and listening. I'm over it. Let me just, June 23rd, I'm going to vote and move on, because for a lot of us, nothing changes after the 23rd. We still have to get up, go to work, earn our keep. None of us gets handed anything. Nobody's sponsoring you. Life continues after the 24th. We still have to get up, take care of our families, and make ends meet. We still have to do that. Regardless of who wins, whether green wins, yellow wins, we still have to get up, go to work, make ends meet, pay our bills. Nothing changes really. The party changes, but of course there's still work to do. So all this unnecessary bickering and bantering and all day just after each other saying the nastiest things that you don't even know to be true, but you figure it's going to hurt the person, so let me just say it. I don't understand. You know? Why is it necessary to be so nasty and have the worst to say? And you know, sometimes you're trying to concentrate on what the people saying, but the noise in on the live, it's so loud you can't even... I don't know how y'all do it. I literally tuned out, you know, from both, because you can't say it's one side. No, everybody's doing it. All man, Jack, and their brother. So there's no excuse, nobody taking on themselves. I saw both sides doing it. It is somebody's choice and right to vote whoever they want to vote for. Another point I wanted to touch on this morning is that of the Imani situation. And, it just sheds light on how, the hypocrisy on this rock, how heavy it is. And I noticed something, and it depends on who you are. The right to sin depends on who you are. And you call it a mistake based on who you are and whether you like the person or you don't like it. Because certain people will do certain things and they'll be crucified. They'll be they'll hung you up on the cross. They'll beat you with they'll just do so much. But the thing is, if somebody else do it because you happen to like the person, then you make all the excuses for them. And we conveniently forget that wrong is wrong and right is right. If it is wrong, it is wrong. Why we continue to make excuses because how you feel about a person? The hypocrisy on this rock sometimes, it is just so amazing. If they don't like you, man, it'll drag you. You're not allowed to make a mistake. People don't feel you or they don't like you for whatever reason. But if they're cool with you, it's a mistake. People make mistakes, it's blah, blah, blah. We humans are something special, I swear. And sometimes you think, what? Yeah, I'll never cease to amaze me. It is just amazing how we function as human beings. Anywho's, back to this Holy Manny thing. I'm seeing it getting a lot of beating on social media. As a matter of fact, there was a story that I saw, not a story, a status, and somebody was literally calling people who are Imani stupid. And for wanting, I'm not sure if that person or folks tuned in before. During the lockdown, we had a series of programs with the Ministry of Youth and what have you, and they were highlighting, what the Imani program was about and what it stands for and re. But it seems as though a lot of people are taking this Imani thing to be like a job. I liken the Imani program to that of internship. If you know of anybody who lives in the US or other places, you go onto a job where you learn the ropes, you learn the world of work, you gain experience before either you're placed on permanent staff or you go on to get something else. But the Imani program, last I checked, one could say over the years, it has changed somewhat from what it's supposed to be. And some will say, people are using it for political gains and what have you. But initially when it started, it was supposed to be a program that gave youth, especially children, students just leaving school, finishing school, whatever, and, just giving them some form of, employment in terms of getting the experience, putting them in different places where they gain experience for the world of work. Because first thing somebody asks you when you send in your resume and you go to that interview, they ask for experience, right? Where did you work before? What did you do? Blah, blah, blah. And recommendations and stuff like that. So to call people stupid, at the end of the day, we all want more for ourselves. I can't force you to want to more for yourself. I can only probably give you a start and you have to take it and run with it. Because I've seen so many success stories coming out of it. And I'm not speaking from a political standpoint. So y'all, before you start sticking labels on people, don't be sticking no labels on me, all right? I'm just speaking on it from where I sit in terms of what I think it should be and what it ought to be, whatever the case might be. It's nothing to gain, no political points, whatever. Because at the end of the day, these are all Grenadians who live here. My point is, we need to stop chastising people because they don't live up to our expectations or they don't do what we do or how we do it. You might have gotten a very good start. You might have been you wanted something for just do your own business. You might have been, there are some people who are go-getters and there are people who are contented to just stay where they are. Whatever little they get, they make it work. There aren't a lot of people who you just can't force somebody to want more. Now, if you're giving people opportunities, and based on what I heard, you can also go to college, you can further your education, blah, 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 even though you have that option as well. So it all depends on you as the individual wanting more. So if you're contented to settle for $700 and $1,000, when are you going to tell people, well, they can't live on them? Apparently they're living on it because to them they seem to think it's a job. It is not meant to last. The last check was supposed to be for a year, then 2 years, then you're out. A next batch, 1, 2, out. It's not for you to get comfortable thinking, okay, I'm working for $700 a month or $1,000 a month. You're meant to get some sort of experience. You get out and either based on your performance, I know of a lot of situations where most were kept on permanent staff. You were made part of the permanent staff because you did so well. And there are others who just like, you know what, well, it's a government thing. Again, whether I work or don't work, I still get them a $700 or $1,000, so let me take it and whatever. And they put little or no effort into it, into growing, into developing, taking extra classes. Old people always say you could bring a horse to the water, you can't force it to drink. So if you're giving somebody an opportunity, why not take it on a run? Not many people got that opportunity. From day one, you had to fight, get your job for yourself and make it work for yourself. So if you're given that opportunity, why aren't you using it to this fullest advantage? If there's classes that you can take, if there's courses, if there are scholarships, if there are different ways to improve your lot, why not take it? We've become so complacent and comfortable depending on people to give you something or depending on, government to hand you this, hand you that some people just relax and they're okay with it. And I don't understand how you could be okay with working for $700 or $1,000 a month. You could barely buy food with that. And it was meant to just go towards your food expenses or transportation allowance or whatever. It wasn't meant to be a job. So people need to start calling this thing a job. It is not. There's a lot of success stories out of it. A lot. To me, there are more important things that needs fire we need to be holding on to people's feet in terms of our health system. Out of everything that I'm hearing, to me, that should be our biggest priority. And I can honestly say, yes, I've heard some things in passing, but not enough. There's so way more we can do. You're hearing about hotels, yeah, all well and good. But to me, at the end of the day, I always say the health of a nation is the wealth. And if we don't have a good health system, then we're going to have problems. That is what I'm deeply concerned about. I'm not going to be stressing over who is contented working for $700 to $1,000 a month instead of taking all the opportunities they get to make the best out of it. I don't understand. But at the end of the day, someone says take the program for what it is, an internship training, but sitting and glorifying it. It's a no. Someone says build my house under the man and is given false hope. Yeah, you start there, and then you're placed on permanent staff, or you move on to someplace else, but you're armed with your experience and you're able to get a good paying job after. So I would advise any young person who's just starting out and not able to just fit into the world of work immediately, it's a good place to start. It's meant to be a start. It's not meant to be a job. Stop depending on it and relying on it. It's meant to be a job. It's not meant to be a job. Someone says they're lucky to get $700. Some places you have to volunteer to gain experience. Be careful who you give advice. Not how much you make. It's how you spend. Yeah. So back to the whole thing. So we're talking June 23rd, and for the life of, I swear to God, I can't wait for it to be June 24th. I'm so over this. These days you can't even go on social media and be, happy and see some nice status that you could comment on, something to make you laugh. That's why I always post my little videos that, you can laugh at, because it has become such a heavy place. It's just, like, people just be waiting, and I know I'm like cockroach in front fall, so if y'all notice, I over here, minding my business. Me ain't going on nobody live on comments. I ain't even going on. Listen, I'm afraid to even go on more. Not afraid, because I just like the peace that I'm at, the place where I'm at that's filled with peace. I don't want to be going back and forth and cussing nobody else. So you know what? Some dance, you have to stay out of it. When you check who the DJ is, when you check the place, you're like, you know what? Nah, let me check the next party. So, not even on my page, I don't post anything to do with politics. Nothing whatsoever. Because people coming in that's like going in somebody you only had to beat them. You post what you want to post, you feel how you feel. And there are people coming to hang and dry you on your own thoughts. When Mark asked what is on your mind on the metaverse, he never said go and find out what is on Theresa's mind or what is on Matthew's mind. The man asked what is on my mind. So, you cursing me out for what's on my mind, I don't understand. So me, I stay in my little corner, Papa, because Y'all just be quick to jump run up people's chest and run down their back. And this wrongs nobody ain't running up my chest and running down my back. If all it cost me a cussing all your back. This turn the other cheek and no. People take advantage of that and they figure, you know what? That means you're gonna answer every time because nobody's yanking my chain. I'm gonna control when and how I choose to respond. Don't figure you could poke me now, poke the bear and the bear will respond immediately. That is like giving people ammunition and giving people control. They figure they control you when you do that. You don't need to respond immediately, but at some point you will be told. Because people seem to think everybody has liberty to say what they want and you shouldn't. It's like some people figure they own the right to speak on certain things and you don't. You don't have to be the brightest bulb in the box or have some degree or whatever to have an opinion, especially if you live here. And talk about to live here. Let me speak to those of you who don't live here. No disrespect. Because I've noticed a couple of you in my inbox talking about asking me who I'm voting for. No disrespect whatsoever. But respectfully, ma'am or sir, if you are living here under Keith Claudius Mitchell, or if Deacon Mitchell, whoever wins, don't tell me who to vote for. Do not tell me who to vote for. If you vote for Biden or you vote for Trump, that is your business. That's where you live. People here could probably do that. If you live here, you could probably tell me or ask me or, whatever. Give me reasons why I should vote A or B. But if you don't live here, once in a while you're passing through. Some of you ain't even been here in over 5-10 years. Y'all going everywhere else. Y'all in Cancun. Y'all all over the place. Don't step in foot on Maurice Bishop International Airport. Don't come in my inbox and tell me who to vote for. You don't know when I'm sucking salt. You ain't know when I'm drinking rum. You don't know when I'm doing nothing. Don't tell me who to vote for, please. If you live here, take a chance. But if you don't, please. And thanks. They say who feels it knows it. We are here. Yeah, it's all right and good to say, what you think about such and such. If you want to ask a question, ask a question. But for the couple of you that I realize get bright, don't do it. Okay? Refrain from doing it. No, Jackie, I ain't throwing nothing to you for you. And it's just like, it seems as though, is it just me that find that like the people who live in the diaspora are the ones giving the most trouble on the books? Is it me? Like under every life or just under every status? Is it just me or I just find out you're getting on these wrongs? Speak to your friends and your family. But if me and you and friend and cool like that, refrain. Because I'm just busy to say people disrespectful. And I don't want to be labeled as disrespectful. So refrain from doing it. A couple of you who are there and you note realize that I have not responded because my mother always say, "Oh, ain't good to say, good to keep." And I've learned recently, not everything requires a response. Sometimes you just have to leave people in their ignorance and don't say nothing. So for the 3 or 4 of you that I saw lately bouncing in and out, especially when I wear a particular color or something and jumping in and out of my inbox, stop it. Okay? Yeah. You can't even wear your clothes in. You wear piece of yellow, you this. You wear piece of green, like. I don't understand all you. Let me see. Someone says, "Good morning, Arubina. I am a product of the batch 1 of the new Imani program. I was placed where I am permanently employed now and I'm grateful. However, I was placed there and left alone. I hardly ever saw a supervisor and I was performing tasks and duties as the permanent staff there. After my 2 years, I was given a contract there which ended prematurely and went back under the Imani under the same conditions, but I wanted more for myself and I sought my own interests. I requested a meeting with my superior on the job and from that day I received my permanent status. It's been 6 years now and nobody from the Imani program never asked me a question. I had to reach out to them, letting them know of my status." And I've heard some stories like that as well, and I think that is one of the disadvantages of the program. I guess sometimes there's more people than there are supervisors or people to manage or find out what's going on with people that are placed in different areas. And I think that is one of the problems, Sometimes implementation and following up is and it's good that you sought your own interest. Otherwise, you'd be there still doing, still struggling. You never know. Um, Good morning, Saigon in the building. Let me see what this person has to say. Why you keep spinning? Hold on, I'm trying to. I forget what minister me wants to do the last time. Hold on, I'm just trying to get there's a couple voice notes that are coming in. Remember, guys, you can chime in at any point as well. Let me hear what you have to say.
Good morning, everyone, and everyone listening to the program. Now, I can very much understand where you're coming from with regards to the bashing and the comments. It is tiring, and I myself can't wait until the election is over because I have taken it upon myself to task myself to do my part for this election. And I've been asking a couple questions. For example, I've been asking where is the dialysis machines that were donated? Why is it every election we're hearing that the dialysis unit will be up in 2 to 3 weeks for the last 2 to 3 elections? Now, I asked that question on Facebook, and someone, I would say a friend of mine, I'm not sure, took me on in the comment section as to why I'm asking this question on social media. Now, if we had proper journalists in Grenada, they would be traversing the whole social media space and see what are some of the pertinent questions that are being popularly asked to then do their research, bring these things to the media outlets, tackle the politicians. But it seems as if we don't have that type of journalists. I don't know if their mouths are strapped or whatever, I'm not sure. Now, even in Carriacou, I've been asking the question, like, for the past 3 elections, we have been told that Carriacou Airport would be renovated, that more planes, bigger planes would be landing there. It was even said that work started. We even heard of a contract being signed. Last Saturday again, there we hear it again, a contract was signed with an unannounced company. And when I'm asking these questions, people are asking me, why am I asking that? Why do you mean, why am I asking that? Like, does it affect me? And I'm saying, whether it's my constituency or not, this is Grenada. A win for any constituency is a win for Grenada. And I'm saying, is it that we are blinded by politics that we can't seem to ask the pertinent questions? For example, with NDC, I personally believe that Grenada needs a change. But I'm not going to be biased to say that with NDC's regime and transformational plan and agenda, I am not in full support of TAMCC becoming free. I believe we should have probably started with half or a subsidized price, and maybe eventually we move to free. I mean, countries like Trinidad do it, but maybe I don't have the vision to see it there. But I'm just saying, like, we can ask questions in the comment section, but when you want to attack me personally or someone personally, no, that's a whole different ball game. But as for me, I'm just exhausted. I just can't wait for this election to be over. I can't wait for persons to actually see and understand that this election is about country. It has nothing to do with party. But I wish both sides all the best. I do not support both sides, but I do wish them all the best in a fair election. That's just me.
And unfortunately, we're not at that point yet when someone is able to say, you know what, I may not, like you just said, you may not support either side, A or B. You're not an NNPite or you're not an NDCite, but you support plans and programs. So you listen to each side and you're able to, you're able to come to a decision as to which side you're going to put your X for, who you're going to put your X for based on their plans and what have you. But it just seemed like, you know what, it is just so much that you tune out. Like I said, I started looking at both yesterday and I'm like, you know what, I've been given this nice, beautiful Sunday. Let me enjoy my Sunday in peace and stop tying up my brain, because you read and you want to respond and you can't, and you're there frustrated and you're vexed and you're typing and then you're just backspacing. And I'm like, let me go on Netflix. There's a really nice Netflix movie that y'all need to see. It's about 3 hours long, but it's oh so good. It's, what is it? Is it R? It's a sort of Indian movie. It's like RRR or something so. it was like 3 hours, and it was just in time to take up enough time for me not to be caught up in this whole thing. Now, on the issue of what you said about journalists, let me just break something down for y'all. And I'm not defending no journalists, but I'm just saying what it is, because I've been in media for going on 20 something years. And, you know, a lot of times I hear people say, well, we don't have independent journalists. And I think sometimes we sort of confuse the journalism we have here with what we see out in the US, where people are free and independent to speak and, you know, whatever. We have very few independent journalists here. Do we even have any? Come to think of it, that people who work on their own, have their own time, airtime, own sponsors, and you're able to speak freely. If what you guys don't seem to understand is that we have more news reporters than journalists. Journalism isn't a field that a lot of young people get in, because since I got into it, I've heard if it's not a field that pays a whole lot of money. So if you're looking for a career that's gonna sustain you well as a journalist, don't go into journalism. You're not gonna make any money. I've heard that, but it's because I really loved it. Well, I can't speak for myself. I'm good over here, but I'm speaking on people who are journalists. They are not journalists. They're news reporters. So I laugh a lot of times when I hear people attacking these folks, saying that they're not. These people actually work for an entity. And if they're working for an entity or an establishment that has a particular, well, you know, every job has there are do's and don'ts. And if your job says to you, listen, we're not going down that road, we don't support who and who and who, you're going to weigh the pros and cons. It's at the end of the day, it's all about dollars and cents. Well, should I speak up and have a job, or should I hush my mouth and should I shut up and keep my job, or should I speak and not have a job? A lot of the times it boils down to bread and butter. Is it worth giving it up for people whose bread are buttered on both sides, even on the edge? While I could barely make one side of my bread, I had to spread it thin so I could have some butter tomorrow. A lot of the times it's not that they don't want to speak up, but they can't. Because if you're working for whether TV or radio station, and the policy is we don't do politics, and we don't speak on this, that, or the other. Because you have failed to realize how petty this place is. We live in a petty place. And a vindictive one of that too. Even the little artists who are on stage making the little pankwai, y'all don't even know who they're supporting. Y'all don't even know if at the end of the day they put in the X by yellow or green. You see a man on stage performing, that doesn't mean it's his bread and butter. That's his 8 to 4, your 9 to 5. That is how he makes his bread, by performing. So if a party offers you, let's say 10 grand to perform, I would say, because me voting for you, my family don't like you, I ain't going and sing, joke you making. When I go and perform and I have my 10 grand in my pocket, June 23rd, I know where my ex going. People are being so petty as, oh, I'm not supporting them again because they're at this stage and they're on that stage. Like, come on, man. Make it make sense. How are you attacking somebody for doing their job? That is what they do. A lot of these artists don't have a regular 8 to 4 or 9 to 5 like I do, or like you do. That is their job. So why attack them for performing? That is what they do. So, you know, the pettiness is just like, oh my God, sometimes you're like, y'all for real? Anyway, I digress. Let me go back to the journalist part. As I was saying, I wouldn't be too hard on journalists because, like I said, most of these people you see reporting news, they don't even get the training. They don't even get proper training on journalism. It's just like they like it. They put them in a newsroom. They teach them how to read a script, and that's it. Morning.
Morning.
Hey, morning.
I hear my voice for a couple of days. I'm in the back seat listening.
Yeah, well, I'll call for you. I don't hear you at all. What's going on?
I listening, right? I would at the end of the day, to me, it all boils down to my bread and butter. You know why I say that? Because at the end of the day, when I go to the bank, I get my money, I don't see my green, I don't see my yellow.
Turn on your thinking back. I hear myself in the background. You're confusing.
Everything, Arona, it's all about my bread and butter at the end of the day.
But some people don't see it like that.
NDC win, NMP win, We still have to get up and work. We still have bills to pay.
My
Granny
point.
goes to cut off the current. Now I say we cut off the water.
Mm-hmm.
We have bills to pay. So all this ranting and raving and people just getting hype. At the day of election, you go, you put your X and just behave yourself. Because you still have to face it.
Exactly.
So I don't see why everybody just beating up themselves. Even though Mr. Deacon win, even though the Prime Minister Keith Mitchell win, we go back and face the same thing. We had to pay bills. Some people just believe that. Some people believe that when NDC win, I don't have no work to do. I don't have to pay no bills. Money coming on my table. They're joking with that.
Well, if that is the case, then
If
that's the case. Then if that is the case, we need to vote them in forthwith. If you're not to work and you have to pay no bills after.
But if I don't have to work after NDC win or NFP when I stay home, you know. And money coming on my table. But I know after anybody when I still have to work.
I don't have that luxury. You still have to work.
Exactly. I out in the field every day. I meeting people every day. I still have to work. Because we thought I work and I don't have nothing.
Boy.
You understand? It's all about everybody right now, all about themselves. Right? But at the end of the day, we have to make a decision. Right?
You have to.
Have a nice
Have a good one.
Yep.
Alrighty. But we no longer have the Leslie Pears and Alistair Hughes and what have you. And you see, that is the thing. It's like, patois. When the older people who knew it died, that's it. Because when they were doing it, they would speak patois because they don't want you to understand what they're saying. If they see you come in the room and they want to discuss something and they don't want you to know what they're talking about, they'll break into patois. So you never learned it. So now that they've died, you'll find that it's something that you don't hear much of because they took what they knew with them. And it's a case of people who are in journalists because, they never encourage really young people to get into it. Because you are labeled a particular way, so not much young people are interested in journalism. You'll have more DJs, you'll have a couple news reporters here, there, and everywhere. But when we're speaking in the true sense of journalists and journalism, I don't know why we're getting upset with what we have here, because like I said, we don't really have that. We really have, Calistro is doing a good job. Yeah, Calistro Farrier is doing a good job. But if we're looking at like those that we're talking about, and I'm sure they're not making reference to Calistro, but probably the other journalists, young journalists that you see on the news, you have a little press conference, they come as news reporters. What it says, journalism is the production and distribution of reports on the interaction of events, facts, ideas, and people that are the news of the day, and that inform society to at least some degree. So why beat up on them? A lot of the time, all they do is they're given a script or they're given a press release to read. They're not given, even taught, unless you do it yourself. There's a course I know at TAMCC, but how many are signed up for it? How many are interested in that? Not much. So, if these people are hired by an establishment and they're getting the little salary at the end of the month, and they're told to report on news or don't report on that, you're not no independent journalist to do what you want. You're getting your own. You're getting your own sponsors, and you don't. No, you're an employee, and if your employer say, "Well, we ain't doing that here," it's either you abide or you find something else to do. You can't go on the people work what they put all the investments in and tell them, well, it should be this way and that way. Sometimes it's their way or the highway. So, I wouldn't really beat up on them. Honestly wouldn't, because I understand how it works. We don't have journalists. We have news reporters. We have people that go, reporters that go to press conferences to get a story. They come back and basically, regurgitate what they would have heard in the press conference. Not much questions asked or challenged or what have you. Wish it was different. But we don't have Kellen Bob. We don't have Kellen Bob here. Kellen is out in diaspora. He does his part. He does his bit. But speaking of the those that we have here, I mean, Deloy says, also a product of the No Imani program batch 3. I had a different experience though. I was first placed at a particular media entity, and after 18 months, I was wrongfully sent home by the management of that entity. The Ministry of Youth was very instrumental in ensuring that my journey didn't end there. They were able to find me another position where I received a contract after a year in the position. I spent 5 years in the position before migrating And while the program has many challenges, there are a lot of success stories from it. And disclaimer, this is not a political comment. Please don't brand me. Listen, we live in a place, listen, as long as you don't speak the language someone to hear, you're branded. If you're speaking like an NNP, you're an NNP. If you're speaking like an NDC, you're an NDC. If you're speaking against the other, you're the other. Half of a one on a dozen. How the saying goes? Half of something on a dozen. It's half of what? Whatever. A dozen. Same dozen. So it doesn't matter what you do. And it's sad that you can't be objective and you can't speak your mind without people thinking you're against it. Or if I don't speak for you, that means I'm against you. Or if I speak that's something that, recognizes party A, I'll probably compliment them or whatever the case might be, that means I'm for them. If you're not for something, you're supposed to be totally against it. No matter what they do. They could do good, but you're going to say it's bad because you don't support it. And I don't understand for the life of me why we can't speak freely and say how you feel about something. You live here. So whether it's good or bad, you can't critique, you can't do nothing. You just have to live with it and... Oh boy. It's crazy. But the thing is, we have meetings. The people, that's a good point. We are the journalists. The people are the journalists. You can't depend on 2 or 3 or 4 people to ask questions on your behalf. When you're having town hall meetings, when you're having rallies or whatever, instead of everybody just, yay, all you big and all you stupid, yay, all you big and all you have sense, yay, all you dunce, yay, all you looking good, yay, all you looking good, yay, everything is yay, yay, yay. Who stands up and says, you know what, here's my representative. My rep, you have a rally Sunday? These are my questions. Let me go to your office. These are things I want to know about. Can you speak on this? No, but everybody is relying on a handful of people to represent the entire nation, a whole 133 square miles. And you all go to sessions and sit on mute. Or if somebody posts something on social media, ready to attack, but you're not asking the questions yourself, but you're just ready and always in attack mode. And relying on a handful of people to ask all the questions. So instead of yay for everything, ask questions. You live here. You want to know. Ask questions of your representative. Hold them accountable. It's a job they're applying for. Find out how they're going to perform, what they're going to do. Why should I give you the opportunity to be my boss? Ask the questions. Not just be sitting there, yay, and before people open their mouth, all you want to run up their chest and run on their back. Good until the doctor see all you. Yes, I gone. Anywho, tomorrow we'll be back with people business. As after God is people business, so we'll be back tomorrow with that. I have a lot. I've got about 6 situations that I need to address. Well, Leslie, and so if you think Grenada needs a change, then vote for the change, That's all I can say to people. I have people saying, well, we're ready for a change. Well, vote for the change. Whatever change you think is necessary, vote for it. If you're comfortable with where it's at, vote for that. If you think we need a change, vote for that. We have options. If you think we should keep what we have, vote to keep what we have. If you think we should vote to change what we have, do that. When you go into that little booth, you want the paper and the pencil. You know where to put your X. Yeah? So, that's as much as I can tell y'all. So next Monday, let's see what happens in the political sphere for the rest of the week. On the campaign trail, they're back at it again on somebody tell me, come and touch in Ali. Me, Papa. Miss me and that you here? Follow to start on me today? Not today. Not today. Not today. Thank you so much, Beacon Insurance, Western Union. We'll be back for another show tomorrow. Yeah. Hold on, let me see. Somebody tell me they sent me a message. Read it. Oh, jeez. Okay. I didn't see it. I'm sorry. They said they sent me. Wow, you sent it to me a long while for real. I didn't see. Hold on.
Arona, good morning. Good morning to all your listeners in Grenada and internationally, wherever they're able to hear this program this morning. The issue relating to journalism and journalists in Grenada is one that is reflective of what's happening in many institutions in the country. Politics has got into those institutions and has made them weak. So individuals are fearful, individuals are not willing to stand up and deal with issues. There are partisan positions that are taken that are not in the best interest of the country. And it happens in every institution. It's not only in journalism. A lot of people don't have the backbone to stand up. But what I've been seeing this elections is that some people are finally finding the backbone to stand up, because you have others who are leading the way and inspiring people. So that's a good thing. Hopefully that augurs well for the future. But like I said, many of the institutions have been infiltrated by politics, and in particular, the style of politics that has governed Grenada for the last 20-something years. That's where the problem lies. So everybody believes that they need to jump and follow suit or stay in line in order to live. It don't necessarily have to be like that. You have to stand up for country first. And that's why I'm advocating change, so that kind of nepotism can finally go away. Have a good day.
Thank you.
You and your listeners.
Thank you so much. Appreciate
Thanks.
it. Nice way to end. So, like I said, we'll see you again tomorrow, guys. Same time, same place.